Hello, this is Chad Riffle, Instructional Consultant with the K-12 ETA. In this video, I'm going to show you how to administer an assessment using the Illuminate Quick Code method. The first step in preparing to administer an assessment with a quick code is to have your student UIC numbers available to the students. The best way to do this is to pull your student UIC report. You will have a red tile on your dashboard that looks like this, and it says student UIC number report. Pull this report, which will give you all of your students, all their student ID numbers, and then click on Labels, Download. When you open the PDF file that's downloaded into your Downloads file, it will give you the name of the student login number, and then you can just cut them out, give them to the students, and they can keep them in a safe place. Now that your students have their UIC codes, the next step is to make the assessment available. So on the left-hand side, if you click on Assessments, View Assessments, that'll give you a list of all of the assessments you have access to. The next step is to find the assessment you're looking for. Once you find that assessment, click on the title and it will open the assessment. If you currently have no scores in it, it'll give you this warning. You don't have to worry about it. Just click Dismiss and it'll take you to your detail page of the assessment. So when you're ready to give the assessment, on the gray bar at the top are all your options, and under Administration, you'll see the term Online Testing. This is going to take you to your online testing page where you have the option to administer the assessment. Now you'll see on the top, just below the gray bar about adding administrations, you have Preview Assessment, which will let you see from the student viewpoint what the assessment looks like. Test in Portal, which is another way to give the assessment, and then Test with Quick Code, which is what we're going to do today. When you click on Test with Quick Code, it will create the assessment here for you. It'll give you the option to delete it. It gives you editing. So if you click on this edit, that allows you to pick when the test is available. It allows you to set some of the settings of how long they have, and it also has down here instructions on how to use a locked browser. You may need help from your tech department to do this. And then online testing options here, the tool settings, gives you the ability to turn text-to-speech on for all students. You can turn on all these other tools that you would like, remembering that when you set them in this mode, it's giving all students that take this test these tools. And the last option down here is where you can turn on the ability to show results to your students, when they're available to the students to view, and when they're turned off so they're no longer available, whether they have a key or not. If you have constructed response questions built into the assessment, I usually set an enabled date for, like a week later, or however long after you plan on grading those, because when it shows the students the score, it will give them a 0 on all the constructed responses, regardless of whether they got it right or wrong, until you get a chance to grade it. Once you have all these settings set the way you want, you just click Save. Now I have all of my tools and everything set up. This is who created the assessment. This part tells you when the assessment starts and when the assessment finishes. So after 1/17 of 2019 at 11:33 a.m., students will no longer be able to take this assessment. It'll tell me the window, if I had set a window for how long, the duration, how long they have to take the assessment. The status, if it's green, it means that it's currently open and students can take it. And if I had students logged in right now taking the assessment, this complete would not be here. But because all of the students who are logged in, which are 0, have completed the assessment, it says it's complete. And then site info and course info only work in portal mode. Then you have your tools over here. The students tool gives you the ability to see the names of all the students that are taking the assessment. It gives you when they started it, when they finished it, how long it took them, and how many pauses they had. It also will give you, under the actions here, the ability to give only certain students text-to-speech. You just click on it and say give text-to-speech. Great way to give your IEP students the accommodations that they're supposed to have. The aggregate view is the old assessment panel view. It doesn't really tell you item by item or question by question information, but what it will tell you is how many students have completed the assessment and what they scored. Just a quick view. And then my favorite tool over here is your assessment panel tool. The assessment panel view allows you to kind of proctor your students, and this is a really powerful tool to monitor their progress. At the top, you'll see on the left-hand side, students and questions. So you can see by either by student per row, or on the question piece, it'll tell you the students' names and then what they responded for each question. The next options are filters. So you could say I only want to see students who've not started yet. If you turn that filter on and you have students who haven't started yet, it'll list them here, so you can go check on Johnny who hasn't started yet. Just remember to turn those filters off when you want to see all your students. As I come across here, view test is the next option. If I click on this, it'll give me a preview mode of the assessment so I can see it in the way that the students see it. The next box over is your quick code to actually log in. If I click on that, it gives a nice display that I could show the students on my whiteboard with go to illuminate.online and enter this code to get to our assessment. The next three tools over will allow you to use this proctoring tool in a way to make an assessment kind of a teaching tool as well. The first button allows you to make your students anonymous. So if I were to project this on the board, now nobody knows whose score is what. The second one over allows you to change the order. So now it's in a different order, A to Z or Z to A. And the third option over gives you all of your kind of like power user options within the assessment panel. The top option allows you to turn on pacing mode. What this means is that each student has to answer a question, and then you have to give them permission to go to the next question. So if you wanted to walk them through the test and talk about each question as you go, you could turn this pacing mode on and you could say, all right, everybody answer question 1, and when I see everyone's finished, we'll go on to question number 2. The next option down is reveal mode. What this does is this turns on or off, seeing how the kids did on each question. Now, questions 2 and 3 are constructed response questions, so there's really it doesn't know whether the kids got them right or wrong yet. But for question 1 and question 4, it's actually grading it on the fly, and the kids can see how they did. Very useful. You could also turn hide answer mode off, or on, and use the reveal tool with hide answer mode on, so that students can see, oh look, question 1, everybody's getting this wrong. I need to look really hard at question 1 and make sure that I'm doing my best on that one. Help mode allows students to request help by clicking on the little hand, and what that'll do is kind of give you a notification that a student needs help. So you can see they turn green, they highlight green when they're on or off. The next options down allow you to pause everyone at the same time. Let's say somebody comes into the room or there's a fire drill or something, you can pause an assessment so that it kind of freezes everybody where they're at. You could click force finish, so let's say your math period's over and you need everybody to finish now, you can click that button. That can't be undone, so if you click that, make sure you know that the kids that aren't done, they're going to get zeros. And then you could also go to switch administration, which allows you to switch between the different tests that you have open at the time. So let's say you're a high school teacher and you have 3 sections and you have 3 different administrations out, and the block has changed and you want to switch to the next administration. This is just a quick mode to get you to the next one, so you don't have to actually go out and do it that way. As we go down, these are links to get you to the other modes from within here. And then the last are some Illuminate help documents in case you need those. And remember, all those options come under this power user button hidden all the way to the right. This tool is very powerful when you're giving assessments, especially if you're using the assessments formatively and maybe you notice all the kids are getting question 1 wrong and you want to address it, and have a discussion about, what about this question is making us struggle. So at the top, once you're all done with all of these things, at the top there's this button that'll send you back to your online assessments. If I click on that button, it takes me right back out to see all the assessments I have open. The last authorization info box is really nice for when the kids come in and you want them to take the assessment. If I click on my quick code, this is my quick code here, if I click on this, it will display a nice user-friendly way to tell students how to log into the assessment. It'll tell them go to illuminate.online and enter, and it'll give you the code. So the last thing I'm going to show you is what this looks like from a student view. So we're actually going to go to illuminate.online just like a student would. All right, from the illuminate.online site, what the students are going to be asked for is their login, which is the 10-digit UIC code that I showed you earlier in the video how to print. So they'll type in their 10-digit code, and then it's going to ask them for the access code. And the access code is this 7-digit number on the quick access code here. It is not cap sensitive, so you can just tell the kids just type in this number. So they're going to type that number in and click next. The next screen is going to confirm which assessment and which student. So the students want to check it over, make sure they got the right test and that's them. Click confirm. And this screen right here is usually where I'll tell my students to stop when they're taking an assessment, because in the top right is the begin the test, and the duration timer does not start until they click that. So let's say I say you get a half an hour to take the assessment. I'll get all the students to this screen, and then I'll have them all click begin test at the same time. Once they click begin test, they'll get their first question, and they can go ahead and take the assessment. Now that you know how to administer an assessment using the quick code method, you can click on one of these two videos to either see how to grade constructed response questions or how to give an assessment using the Home Connect portal.